What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this weekend, this Friday? What's up? Just filling in for Mark today. Again, it's all good. This is fun. How's everybody doing? How's your weekend? How's programming? What's going on? Welcome, Roman and DS Milemaker. Drogon. Hey, Nate. I'm not Nate. I'm Jason. I do have a brother, Nate, though, Nathan. So that's pretty rad. Born Toby Rich. Welcome. How we doing over here on YouTube? Welcome, Samuel. The first plug, Chip. Welcome. My weekend is good so far. I've spent so much time in code, which has been really refreshing. I've been building the Devslopes 2.0 website, working in React and TypeScript, so that's fun. And yeah, just wrapping it up. I'm hoping to get this thing into production this weekend, maybe later today or tomorrow. It depends on how QA goes. So just wrapping up some code. Welcome, everybody. So again, I'm Jason. I'm with Devslopes.com. I'm a full stack engineer here, and I'm a web instructor. Devslopes has 3 different academies, and I'm in charge of the web academy. So I personally work with students to learn how to code and become successful full stack developers, land jobs, and make money. So that's what I'm about. Let's see what else we got going on. So today it's just going to be casual. Okay, so if you have questions about programming, learning to code, getting into different technologies, feel free to shoot me some questions. All right, let's check out Instagram over here. Welcome everybody who's joining. Let's see, what do we have? Let's see, which is the best opportunity, data scientist or software developer? It really depends on the area that you're in. I mean, do a search like on Indeed. Like if you're US based, you can do a search on Indeed for data scientist job positions and software developers. So it really depends on where you're at. Pragoon, let's see. You used to quite big fit. What happened? Pragoon, I don't know who you're mistaking me for. Now, my brother Nathan, that guy is stacked. He's like 6'2", 200 pounds, 8% body fat. I mean, the guy's a gorilla. But me, I just don't have the biceps that my brother does. I am not ripped and shredded out of my mind. But I think about it. I just live vicariously through my brother as far as fitness goes. So doing that, I am fit in my mind. I'd Padoku. Do you like Python? I have worked like I haven't worked with Python before. Like I've programmed in Python like a couple of tutorials in the past, but I've never taken anything to production and I've never built anything serious with it. I hear a lot of great things about Python, but I've used it very little. Let's see. Pux, what does it take to learn React? Well, as far as you get your basics down, to learn React, get your HTML, CSS, and be proficient in JavaScript. And then it's a fairly smooth transition over into a React. All right, but you've got to be proficient. Don't just like know some basics about JavaScript. You really want to be able to be proficient with JavaScript and be able to build things to make a smooth transition into React. All right. What are you doing now in computer? I think maybe you're talking about what I'm doing now on my computer. So right now I am programming, I'm coding out the Devslopes 2.0 website. So I'm using React and TypeScript, which has been a ton of fun. And I'm just wrapping up the last like mile here. Actually not mile, more like a couple of feet. I'm so close. to having this thing done, and then we can launch it to production, which is going to be awesome. This has been taking way longer than I thought. Chop Daddy, why does PHP suck? That's a matter of opinion. I personally am not a fan of PHP. I think it's got a really interesting syntax. It just looks, I just don't like it. Okay, that's my personal opinion. There's people out there who love it. PHP has its time and its place. There's jobs, you can get PHP positions. But me personally, I'm not a fan of it. You want to see my screen. You want to see my code. I'm not going to do any screen sharing right now. But what's cool is, whoa, I almost fell over. Got my leg stuck in my chair. I have handwritten over 9,000 lines of code with this website. So that's been fun. It's taken a bit. Let's see. Anish, hey there. What's up? Hey, let's take some questions from YouTube. All right. Welcome, Mark. Code Light Sparkles. Hello there. Best way to learn coding is by building projects. Absolutely. Building real world projects like full stack applications. Don't just build, static websites or anything. Like, you want full stack applications, things that are dealing with APIs, because that's going to be preparing you for the real world jobs and stuff. And then also, if you're looking to do freelance work, that's going to give you, end-to-end experience. Let's see, what's the best resource to learn coding? So there's a lot of free tutorials that you can do on like YouTube and everything. And then if you really want to, dive down and expedite the coding journey, then you can always join one of the Devslopes academies. You've got instructors that you can work with personally to ask questions. They're going to grade your assignments, review your code. We're going to tell you if it sucks or if it's good. We're going to tell you how you can improve your code, and we're going to make sure that you're not, developing bad habits as a programmer. So all the instructors here at Devslopes have worked professionally in the development industry. Me personally, I used to be a full stack engineer at Dell. And now I'm over here at Devslopes doing full stack development, and I'm helping students learn how to code and land jobs and stuff. Free Code Camp and Code Academy don't really work. It's just a little bit like copying the code. Yep, you're right. That's true. What else? Tips for learning the Mern stack. I mean, it's just one step at a time. You've got HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You dive into React, and then pick up Express and Node. And the cool thing is, with Express and Node, you're using JavaScript, which is nice. You're not having to learn some other crazy technology or a different programming language to move into a full stack developer. With Node, you can keep everything in JavaScript. So it's a fairly smooth transition since you know JavaScript already. So just one step at a time. Wazi Blasi, how do you get good at talking to clients and people in general? My soft skills suck. That's a skill for sure. I know there's books on how to work with clients and how to build rapport, and yeah, just all that stuff to communicate with people. And it's so important when you're freelancing. So I did a lot of freelance work when I first learned how to code. And, I was fortunate enough that I came from a sales background, 10 years of sales. And so I was, doing sales trainings and all this stuff, working with clients and customers. And so I had those people skills, and I knew how to build rapport and to build relationships with clients, and, to keep a good communication. And so I was fortunate in that sense. But yes, if you're wanting to do freelance work of any kind, you do have to have people skills to some degree, because not only does a client expect you, to build and deliver a project, but they also want someone who's pleasant to work with and easy to talk to. So maybe find a book or a YouTube channel about public speaking or talking to people. Let's see. How do you learn coding fast? Yusuf asks. To learn programming fast, you really need to have some type of a mentor or a coach, someone you can ask code questions, point you into the right direction so you're not like flying blind. So that was one of the struggles that I had because I'm a self-taught developer as well. And so when I was learning on my own, like I got lost. Like I was going down rabbit holes. I wasn't sure, like, is this a good technology to learn? Is this the right path to be taking? Am I following best practices? Like, I was just lost. I didn't know where to go, what I should learn next. And so I just spent way too much time in tutorials. But if you want to learn coding fast, you need to work with some type of mentor or coach, someone who has been through the learning process already and has successfully landed jobs or paid freelance projects, so they can help point you in the right direction so you can get paid for coding and learn it fast. Hello to world. I've learned HTML and CSS. I've made a few projects. I always have trouble making layouts with CSS though. Any suggestions? That's a good question. So that's actually a really important part. Like HTML and CSS are like the easy part of web development, right? And then as you get into JavaScript, things start to get more difficult. But there is actually an art to architecting your HTML and CSS so that your layouts will function correctly. There's probably, so I've, when I teach web development, I actually go over this. A lot of the projects that we do, I always ask students to, take the mock-up or the design that they're working with, and then to kind of map out different containers or page layouts, like where you might be using the CSS grid or where Flexbox might be utilized, and to break things out into different containers and things like that to help architect the HTML. And by putting things into a grid system or Flexbox, using Flexbox, in most cases, the UI will naturally collapse and make your layouts a lot easier to work with. So Terrell, what would your average salary be if you could code a full stack application? So I would say a full stack engineer, the average salary is probably around 80,000, like 75 to 80,000. Let me see if I got your question right. The average salary. So a full stack application, yeah, I would say a starting salary would be around 75, 80,000. And that's in my area. That's in Texas. All right. So look it up in your location. You can always, get on Indeed, and then do a job search for like full stack web developers, or you can get on Glassdoor and do a search and kind of see what the average salary is there. All right. TikTok and Instagram. I'll get back to you in just a moment. All right. How to get more comfortable with CSS. I don't think you'll ever get comfortable with CSS. CSS is ridiculous. Like I've been programming for, I don't remember, 5 or 6 years. And like I would say I've become very, very proficient in HTML and CSS in that regards. But CSS is one of those things, like I feel like it's part of the like paranormal. Like there is still things with CSS and strange behaviors from CSS that don't make any sense. Like when I'm building out, like the Devslopes website, when I'm building this out and I'm using the Google Chrome developer tools, like the inspector tool, I'll see weird layout situations happening and I'll see the CSS styles I have applied. And I understand all the logic, how the CSS works. Like I know exactly how each property works, but then I'm getting weird behavior. So CSS is part of the paranormal. There's things that you just can't explain about it. Bruce, how much time does it take to make a website that wins awards? I don't know. It just depends on the website. I can knock out websites depending on the website anywhere from, maybe a couple of hours to months. It just depends on the size of the project. Let's see, Brian, what would you recommend if someone was interested in creating games? I would check out Unity. Check out the Unity game engine, Unity 3D. It's got so many amazing like baked in features for 3D worlds, for textures and layering and other assets. Unity 3D would be awesome. Goblin John. Hey, Jason. Hey, Goblin John. All right. Hello, man. I'm starting to follow your UE4 tutorials. Thank you. Awesome. Good deal. All right, let's hop over here to TikTok. Let's see what we have going on. Welcome everybody on TikTok, Rushlow Media. Let's see, tell us more on TypeScript. I am a PHP dev, just moved to Mern, interested in it. So TypeScript is awesome. It's a superset of JavaScript, and it has you declare your types. So in JavaScript, it's very loosey-goosey, right? It's very sloppy and nasty at times. There's no type checking. So my point is, in JavaScript, plain vanilla JavaScript, you can introduce a lot of bugs. And then when you have functions or different things that you're working with, different pieces of data, there's not, unless you explicitly do like code to check the type of the data that's coming in, you can cause bugs or store the wrong types of data into the database, like strings to numbers or vice versa, things like that. Whereas TypeScript is awesome because you declare your types. And so if you have an array of data or you're working with an object, you can set the types of each property in the object. For an example, what type it should be, whether it be a string, number, a Boolean, anything like that. And it helps prevent a lot of bugs. And then, I mean, there is a steeper learning curve to TypeScript, but once you start using it and you start working with types and declaring those type of things, it is like one of the most amazing things to work with. And I just love it. It's fantastic. Let's see. What else do we have here? How about when you're 12 years old asking for my son where to start? So if you're looking into web development, so my daughter, for an example, she's 8 years old. And like I do web development, I've dabbled in other things like iOS and Android, for an example. And she thought it was really cool. She thought it would be really cool to build Android apps. I mean, iOS apps, iPhone apps. So I started teaching her iOS development, and we just started out with the basics, like creating variables, like strings and numbers, and then doing simple math and things like that. So introducing just the very basics of programming, like in web development, start out with like HTML. And then, you know, once they get the elements kind of figured out, then you can move into CSS. And then JavaScript, you know, would come last. Bro, I'm crying. You're quite right about CSS. I hate it. I can't stand it. Very cool. Nathan, I'm working as a full stack developer for a startup company, but I got pay by vesting schedule. Okay, cool. It's good. Awesome. I failed out of the college computer science program at college, but really want to do game dev. So the cool thing is you don't need a computer science degree to do programming. If you want to do game development, there's various platforms that you can dive into. I would do Unity 3D. That's a fantastic game engine to start with. But yeah, don't worry about a computer science degree. I have friends and family who have gone that route, and it took them a lot longer to start making as much money as self-taught developers that I know. And that's only because self-taught developers, in most cases, they have loads of hands-on experience, whereas college, they don't exactly prepare you the skills that you need to get a real-world job, like things like using the terminal, different NPM packages, Git and version control, like super, you know, basic, important things that every job will require. And college dives a lot into the theory and depth of programming, but to get paid as a developer, you don't need that theory and depth. If you can get the hands-on experience and you know how to code, that theory and depth is going to come over time. All right, let's see what else do we have. VGX7TV, do you recommend a bootcamp? I do recommend a bootcamp. I recommend the Devslopes bootcamp. We have an academy for iOS, Android, and web development. You'll come in, we put you through it's a 16-week bootcamp. You have lifetime access to it. You get to work with a mentor and a coach. We have live weekly meetups where students and everybody hop onto this live Zoom call. We chat about coding, programming, freelancing, tech, all sorts of cool things. And we'll point you into the right direction. And we actually work with you until you land a job or paid freelance work. All right. And you have lifetime access to it. So you can always go to devslopes.com/apply. And then you can apply to the academy and see if you can get in. So that's the bootcamp that I would recommend. I did an in-person bootcamp once, and it was 12 weeks in person. It was very difficult. because I had a full-time job, I had family, and then I was trying to do a full stack in-person boot camp. And then after the boot camp, you're just done. It really sucked. I had hundreds of questions still, but I had nobody to ask those questions to. Why do you choose web dev over iOS? So what's crazy is I was first interested in iOS development. Like, I wanted to be an app developer. That's just what I wanted to do. And so I actually got into programming with the intention to be an iOS developer. But then this opportunity arose where I could do web development. There's this web development boot camp. So I joined that to get my feet wet in programming. And then my whole plan was to move straight into iOS. And so I got into web development and I liked it. And then I tried out iOS development and it was cool, but there was something about web development that I just really, really liked. You guys, do you know what I just realized? My mic. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Here's my mic. Oh man, I forgot about that. Hopefully you guys can hear me better. Good thing I talk really loud, huh? But anyways, I wanted to be an iOS developer. I tried out web, fell in love with web, stuck with web. But iOS development is still cool. I'm a high school junior trying to possibly get a developer internship soon. What would you recommend? I know before I start applying, my goal is to work as a front-end developer. So if you want to do an internship, make sure that you've got your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then choose a framework like React or Angular. Become proficient in those things and then go into an internship. So when I first learned to code, that was actually one of the things that I did as well, is I got into an internship. I had 2 of them. The first internship, I actually got fired after 5 days. Who gets fired from an internship? I do. I just talk too much. I mumbled when I code. I was too loud for the development environment, I guess. Hold on, Instagram's coming back. But I guess I was too loud for the whole environment of this company. But I wasn't a good fit anyways. I just wasn't a good fit for that company. But then the other one I worked with, I was there for a month, and that was awesome. I learned tons of stuff on the job. Let's see. Let's check out some Instagram. I haven't paid attention to you for a while. I apologize. Let's see. What kind of questions do we have? Should I make projects using vanilla JavaScript or jQuery? I'm a beginner. I mean, that's a good question. So one of the things that you could do is jQuery is still used. Like, there's libraries out there that use jQuery. There's companies with legacy code that still use jQuery. It's not as widely used anymore, but it still is out there. All right, there's things that require jQuery. I would probably use vanilla JavaScript so that you understand at the root how things are working, like how to manipulate DOM elements and everything. Because jQuery has a really nice syntax to it. It does a lot of heavy lifting for you. But doing it in vanilla JavaScript is going to help you have a better understanding of how that JavaScript is working under the hood. And what's cool about vanilla JavaScript is that the API has actually come a really long ways. Like, jQuery, was created to solve that problem of manipulating DOM elements. All right. And it solved the problems that, JavaScript couldn't. But JavaScript over the years has come so far and can almost do everything that jQuery can. But it's more common to, once you learn JavaScript, to dive into frameworks and libraries like Angular and React for DOM manipulation, and are a lot easier to work with. Let's see, Pragoon, I think I saw your brother then. You probably did. Yeah, my brother's buff. We have the same nose. That's cool. What is the hardest programming sector? What is the... I'm not sure I understand that question. I might come back to it. Hold on. I'm trying to understand, like, a programming sector. Like, are you talking about a programming industry, like whether it's front end, back end, or data scientist or, yeah, just let me know. Let me know. Python or JavaScript? Well, they're different. It just it depends on, your development path, what you want to do with programming. If the, job or goals with programming involve Python, do Python. If they involve JavaScript, do JavaScript. What do you think about Kotlin and its future? Kotlin is the future for Android development. Even the entire Android community is pushing Kotlin. And what's so cool about it is, originally a lot of these Android apps, you're using Java to build them. But then when Kotlin was launched, you can write code in Kotlin so much faster. You can write about 40% less code. And the whole Android community is actually pushing Kotlin. There is a good future for Kotlin and Android development. When is Devslopes planning to come out with a machine learning course for iOS? So we do have a machine learning course. Like Devslopes doesn't do Udemy courses anymore, but we do have an iOS course on Udemy that includes machine learning. I haven't dived into our academy, iOS Academy, lately to see if there's machine learning in it. There may or may not be, but we have definitely taught machine learning in the past. Let's see, what time is it? 3. Let's see, we have about 2 minutes until the hour. Let's see, is Unity great for game development? Absolutely, that it is great. And as a beginner, I highly recommend it. I'm joining late. What language are you coding in? I am currently working in HTML, CSS, React, TypeScript, and then Node, Mongo, Express, that type of stuff. Your opinion about the Ruby language? I've never used Ruby ever in my life, so I don't have an opinion about it. I'm learning Python from W3 Schools. Is it good? W3 Schools is really good to get some fundamental, concepts down. As far as building useful real-world projects that is going to enhance your skills, you're going to want to do other things, like join the Devslopes Academy. But W3 Schools is very good for explaining things in layman terms. Like, so you have a crystal clear, basic, conceptual idea of what it is. Let's see. Hello from Turkey. Can you best any technology? Can you best any technology? I'm not exactly following with that question, but the best technology, it just depends on what you want to do with technology and then follow that programming language. Do you know C#? I've worked in C# a little bit, but I don't know it by heart. Like, I dabbled in it a couple of years ago. That's as far as my experience goes. Can we have NASA with the help of HTML? Sure. What are the best states to live in if you are an Android developer? That's a great question. I would jump on Indeed.com. I would look for Android positions and see what states highest Android jobs available. How do you prep for the JavaScript challenge with Devslopes? The cool thing with the code challenge is it starts you out as beginner. And so you really don't need any prior experience with JavaScript. Like, there's video tutorials to teach you JavaScript. And then at the end of that day's tutorials, those video tutorials, then it will give you a challenge. And so you'll actually learn JavaScript while taking the Devslopes coding challenge. And if anybody's interested in the Devslopes coding challenges, go to 30daycodechallenge.com. And we've got code challenges for JavaScript and iOS right now for Swift. So check those out. 30-day code challenge. And that's a 30. All right. Yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait for it to start either, the code challenge. What language to start freelancing? Any language. You could do web development, iOS, or Android. Let's see. All right, we're like a minute over. I'll take a couple of more questions here. New in programming, which language to learn first? You should choose a programming language based on what it is you want to do with programming. If you want to do web development, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you want to do iPhone development, start with Swift. Android development, start with Kotlin. If you want to, you know, build robots like rovers on Mars and stuff, learn C++. With that said, C++ is insanely complicated, and as a beginner, you might smash your head into a keyboard trying to learn it. So I don't recommend it as a first language. All right, everybody. There's so many questions here. You're all so awesome. I appreciate the questions. I don't have time to answer all of them, but if you are interested in learning to code, web, iOS, Android development, go check out the Devslopes Academy. All right, that's devslopes.com/apply. And then you can apply to the Academy, check it out. And if you want to join the Academy, you can work with me or some of the other instructors, and we will personally help and coach you and mentor you to learn how to code and to get paid jobs. We'll work with you until you get paid, all right? So anyways, I'm Jason with devslopes.com. As always, stay positive, keep calm, and code on. See you later, everybody. Have a great weekend.